Hello guys, this is Brian here with the video. This video is going to be about the Aetna and CVS merger that they're trying to merge together. And all these news stations and all this saying, well, it's going to be beneficial for the consumer. It's going to drive down cost. Well, not really. Have you ever known any companies who merge with each other bring down cost? No, costs go up, actually. Uh, in my opinion, in my view, I really do not want a healthcare insurer or a health insurance company administering healthcare to me. I don't. I do not want the employees administering healthcare to me. I don't. Um, because when you do that, there are a lot of things that goes in your mind, in the back of your mind. Well, like for instance, people can go to, like they're going to do these doctor things at CVS pharmacies, I guess, like these drug clinic. I mean, these like walk-in clinic type of things. Doctor in a box, I guess what you call them. Well, if they're employed by Aetna and you have Aetna insurance, well, does that affect quality of care? Maybe. Does that affect what kind of prescriptions that doctor can write? Maybe. Because if the doctor's employed by the insurance company, then the insurance company have a might force the doctor, well, we want you to drive down costs, so we don't want you to write any expensive prescriptions, no brand name prescriptions, generics, and the cheapest generics too. The conflict of interest. So really, is that really going to offer more choices to the patient? I don't think it will. Now, I did a video about a couple months ago about Blue Cross Blue Shield getting cahoots with Walgreens pharmacy. They didn't merge per se, but they did a partnership. And they said, well, it's going to drive down costs. We can negotiate drug prices better. They're mail order pharmacy. Well, copay's actually gone up, actually. So, therefore, it didn't drive down cost anywhere. And really, even the doctor's office, I talked to the doctor. I said, I understand what's the purpose of this, because Blue Cross owned its own pharmacy benefit manager, Prime Therapeutics. Only Blue Cross owned them. And they, I think 14 different states own them. Well, so they already had a mail order thing in place already. So how merging with Walgreens did any good, actually? I don't see any good. Matter of fact, my mail order prescriptions take longer, because it comes from Arizona now, where Walgreens mail processing is. Beforehand, my prescriptions came from Irving, Texas, so I got them the very next day or 2 days later. Maybe 3 at the very most. Not a week. So no really beneficial thing to the patient. So that's why I think I don't see any cost sharing at the level of the patient, at patient's level. I don't. Now, what they could do maybe is, well, if Aetna does merge with CVS and they have these doctors that are employed by by Aetna, like these doc in the box, well, if you use their services in the pharmacy, maybe you get a $5 gift certificate or a $5 gift card if you stay with CVS to fill your prescription. And supposedly, they said that CVS will continue taking other insurance companies' prescriptions with other insurance companies. Well, they don't with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Or here in Texas, they don't. Matter of fact, I don't think any of the Blue Crosses who are owned by Healthcare Service Corporation. New Mexico, Oklahoma, Montana, Illinois, and Texas. None of the 5 will accept CVS. Well, it's because Blue Cross got in cahoots with Walgreens, And either Walgreens or CVS said, well, we don't want any money going back and forth like that to different corporations, to our competitors, really. Uh, so that's kind of that would be kind of interesting to sit back and watch. If CVS and Aetna becomes one big corporation, that means if they like for instance, if a patient has Walgreens, if a patient has Aetna and they take their prescription to Walgreens to have it filled, that's kind of that means that money that pay like the whatever you don't pay, like if you had a $5 copay and the prescription was 15 20, well, that $15 remaining goes from Aetna and CVS, the big corporation, and goes to Walgreens, their competitor. So that's kind of, if you think about that, sit back and think about that. Because you get a prescription, well, hell, you could take anywhere the insurance is accepted, right? And ultimately, I think that's become a monopoly. I think it is. I don't foresee any cost sharing, or cost savings to its members. I don't see any copay supposedly going to be lower by this merger. What it is, I think it all boils down to is access to data. Well, if people who have United, Anthem, Cigna, those people who have those type of insurance get their prescriptions filled at CVS, but Aetna will have that access to that information. Marketing, I know they're not supposed to be doing that, but who really knows what goes on behind closed doors at these giant companies. So think about that too. Back of your mind. If you have another insurance carrier, do you want Aetna to see your information? I don't. You're prescribing any of your prescription, because what is the pharmacy? The pharmacy has your date of birth, your name, your telephone number, your address, and all your doctors who write your prescriptions. So think about that too. But I don't know. I don't think it'd be any good for consumers. I really don't. But like I said, when is the last time you heard any of these companies merge together and really have consumer savings? None. None. Like DirecTV and AT&T merging together. Well, did anybody's AT&T bill go down by doing that? No. I think the FCC, well, actually, they're also trying to stop it, or the FTC, whoever, Time Warner and AT&T, no, And also, on that note, I think the regulators need to go to AT&T again and break them up again. My grandma worked for AT&T, and she went through the 1980s breakup of AT&T, Ma Bell. She retired from AT&T. Good benefits. She worked there from the late 60s all the way up to 1990. Around there somewhere, but I think she told me it was 1984, somewhere around there, that the federal government sued AT&T and broke them all up into original. And of course, now AT&T is now the big old cell phone provider. And then, back then they owned the manufacturing company that manufactured all the telephones, Western Electric. And that stuff was made to last. None of this plastic shit they got nowadays, or the last 30 years. that's been made that's cheap plastic. I mean, if you're old enough, remember those big old those rotary telephones from the 60s and 70s and part of the 80s? Oh, those push dial phones, those desktop time. I mean, those were heavy duty telephones. They were made to last. But like I said, I think that it's time for the federal government to get involved in these big old companies who merge together and all this. Um, it's really in reality no benefit to consumers. It's not. The cost never goes down. It actually goes up. And these companies become monopolies. That's what AT&T was. AT&T was the biggest monopoly in the world actually. They owned the equipment. They owned the long distance line. They owned everything. They really did before they were broken up too. Same way these insurance companies, they need to get all broken up too. I don't know. I think it's kind of creepy to me if an insurance company is going to buy out a pharmacy chain and have access to all this medical record stuff. It kind of nowadays is creepy. Um, but like I said, a health insurance company has no business of administrating care. That's that's something that sort of should be separate and totally separate at all, at all times. I don't want my doctor being in cahoots with my insurance company, meaning I don't want them to be employed by them or anything like that, because that can mean difference in care, conflicts of interest, basically. Um, well, if you're going to be employed by us, we want you to do this. We want you to tighten up the purse strings and do cost control. I bet that will happen. I bet a couple of years from now, if they get approved, I think these news stations are going to start investigating them and find out that is taking place. Um, is it a free market really when they merge like that? No. Um, it's really not. Um, but we shall see. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I will be wrong. I think about its cost will go up still. Who's going to... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Aetna is the one who's trying to buy CVS. So is everybody insurance rates going to go up because of the merger? I bet so, because who's going to pay for it? They have to recoup the cash from someplace. Uh, so hopefully, I do believe the federal government needs to say no, you cannot merge. Um, just too many questions at the end of the day about this. Um, and then, I'm just thought about this. Well, if an insurance company owns a pharmacy chain and they accept other insurance companies supposedly, are they going to have a tactic to say, well, if we take United Healthcare plans, well, we're going to jack up the price for everybody who's on United. So they make their competitor United to pay more money. So that's another question. I just thought about that. Hey, can I price gouge my competitor? Um, that will be interesting to know. If they claim supposedly that, I think they will, but if they don't, I bet some antitrust laws will be broken. Um, that is really, that is really interesting to find out. If they say they're going to continue taking other people's insurance, like United, Cigna, what have you, well, are they going to price gouge those carriers? That's really, really interesting to know. And then, if I was a shareholder of one of those companies, if I owned stock or shares of, for instance, United Healthcare, I would not want any funds to be funneled to another insurance carrier, a competitor, because basically that would that's going to happen. I mean, if CVS is charging, let's say, $20 for a drug to be filled, and United patient has to pay $5, and the rest is insurance pays 15. Well, that money is being funneled to Aetna, right, from United. So that really that is kind of weird. Um, and I'm sure that goes on anyway, in business and other companies that I don't know about. Um, but that's kind of interesting to think about for a while. Um, and supposedly, oh, we're going to get to negotiate pricing better with the pharmaceutical companies. Well, bullshit. That is the biggest lie of them all. That's what they say about Walgreens and Blue Cross. Well, yeah. Well, if that's so true, why is everybody who has Blue Cross has to pay higher percentage of copays and all this for prescription drugs? If that's really the true case. Um, Now, only way I really see that work if an independent pharmacy like a mom and pop store gets bought out, but if they get merged with a big old drugstore chain, yeah, they get better pricing. Um, but Blue Cross and Walgreens and CVS and Aetna, they're humongous companies to begin with. So you're gonna tell me by alone cannot get good drug pricing? I don't buy that for one damn bit. So that's a big old lie right there on his face. Um, I don't know. I don't think it really is a good idea for a health insurance company to merge with a drugstore. I don't think so. I don't want my healthcare company, health insurance, to be involved in point of care. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Point of care. Point at the time of service. It's enough that they're involved when you get a prescription fill, obviously, because they have to pay for it. But um, just think about that. Just kind of take it, just kind of deeply think about that, because it's a scary thought, actually. Who has access to all this medical records at the end of the day? Um, so this is my 2 cents. So I'll talk to y'all later.